That's right, we are back for another Tactical Tuesday, which means it's Tuesday. And today I would like to talk about a subject that I've been chatting with a bunch of business owners about, which is your niche, or if you're in the US, your niche. Yeah, the Americans love to say that there are riches in those niches. But I'm talking about niches today with a little apostrophe on the top. And what is a niche, I guess, is the first part of the question. But before I get on to what a niche is, anyone who's watching here, I'd love you to put your say hello in the comments. Talk to me. I want to hear from you. If you've got any questions as we go through here, feel free to ask, because I would love to answer them live on the call. I think that's the real magic of these live sessions, is that we can go live in the discussion. So I can see a couple of people on the line. Say hello. I would love to hear from you. Hello, Lindsay. Good to see you, as always. The niches, the niches. What's it all about? Well, it's really about defining where you sit in the marketplace. So for anyone who's not sure what a niche is, it's about saying that you're no longer a generalist. You're not looking generally over an entire area. You're actually getting clear about the specific that you actually look after in your business. Now, to give you an example, the broadest professional services style role would be general business advice. Okay, so that's not a niche, that's a generalist. And then moving in from there, you might go, well, my niche is marketing, but in actual fact, marketing is so broad that it's not really a niche, but it is a niche down from business, right? So that might be the next step. Then you go, all right, well, I want a niche further in from there. And it might be, all right, well, I'm a specialist in search engine optimization. So that becomes the niche. And then you go, all right, well, I want to go deeper than that. All right, I'm a search engine optimization specialist for trade businesses. All right, great. And then you might go a little bit further and say, I'm not just an expert in trade businesses doing the search engine optimization. I just look after plumbers. So you would have a niche where you're the search engine optimization specialist for plumbers. Now, there are all sorts of different niches that you can actually be a part of. It doesn't have to be around what you do. And I think that's always a risk, because if the way you go about servicing a client or solving an issue, if that changes and that is your niche, then that could completely change your entire business model and actually really disrupt you. So I wrote a few things down here, and I'm going to read a couple of things. But there are niches of industry. So like who you work with. So you might work with pharmaceutical companies, or we just look after trade businesses, or even niching further down, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, whatever it might be. We just deal with doctors, maybe, or paramedics could be your industry. In fact, I've seen that before. In fact, in a financial services person I spoke to once, they just dealt with truck drivers. So people who are doing long haul truck driving, that was their specialization. And then niche within that financial services industry. So industry is certainly one of the ways that you can niche. Another way is the problem that you solve. So let's say, for instance, that the problem you solve is in the entertainment space. So this is going to be a funny one, right? So if you want to niche into the entertainment space, there are hundreds of different ways that people could be entertained. So that's a really broad problem to solve. I want entertainment and I'm not being entertained. How can you entertain me, right? So rather than do that, you would probably pick a certain situation that they were in where they have that problem. So I am at home and I don't want to leave my house or my lounge room, but I want to be entertained. All right, well, it could be delivering in board games or something like that, or it could be you going into the video space and things like Netflix or Stan, things like that. So there are all different ways to niche in that as well. What problems do you solve? The target market's a good one too, and I'll show you the problem solved bit in a second and how you can really niche into that using this fish analogy that you may or may not have seen before. But another one is the specialization that you have. So you've got the industry that you work with, you've got the problem that you solve and potentially the way that you solve that problem, you've got the target market that you want to work with, and you've got the specialization in the way or the way you deliver what you do. Now I'm just going to turn that phone off because that's not going to help anybody if that's buzzing in my pocket the entire time. So why would you specialize? Why would you look to niche? I was very resistant against niching for a long time, and in fact, to be fair, I haven't really niched that far in. My area is very much business strategy, and so what I don't get into anymore is the business specifics. So I'm not doing search engine optimization, but I know how to do it. So I'll show you the strategy about how to do it. I'm not doing the specific advertising for people anymore, but I know the strategy on how to do it. So I'll tell you how to do it, or show you how to do it. And so it's understanding the role that I play in that bigger mix. So I work on the strategy side of things, and ideally show people from the strategy to the tactical, as in what are the steps that people need to take, but I won't be doing the work for them. Well, I try and get away from that because people keep trying to drag me in to do the work for them, right? But that's the idea. That's the idea of niching. So the reason to do it, there's less competition. If you go into a niche, there might be, let's say you're an accountant, general accountant, a tax accountant. There are thousands of people in your state that do that. So thousands of competitors. Now you might go, all right, well, I don't want to deal with thousands of competitors and I don't want to be just known as a tax accountant. All right, well, I'm going to be the tax accountant for, I'm going to use that same example before, for tradespeople. And again, you can niche further down into that. And so it's not just about trade. It could be plumbing. It could be electrician. It could be, you could even be, this is an actual trade because I've actually got the qualification. Right? It could be graphic design, right? So I am the accountant, the tax accountant that deals with graphic design businesses. All right, so that's one way of niching down there. Now, if you look at that, there is less competition in that space. Now, you want some competition because competition illustrates that there's money there to be had. So you do want some competition, but you don't want so much competition that you end up in a price war. That's the real reason to have a niche, is that you don't want to be caught in a price war where it's a race to the bottom and you're only going to compete on price or the how of delivery. All right, you want to actually be really top line about what is the problem that you're solving for people and what is the outcome that they want, and deliver on that, because that's where you get the good dollars, because it's outcome-based delivery, outcome-based service rather than time-based. So good that you got something new there, Lindsay. So the deeper you go as well into this, it allows you to find more opportunities that were in a specialist area. So again, I'll show that in just a second. But if you're broad in your offering, it's very difficult for people to understand what you do for them. So there's two reasons for this. Like, one is that if you're not clearly talking about the problem you solve and you're just talking about the solution, bonjour, Facebook user. I don't even know who it is, but bonjour. If it's not clear, if you're not just talking about the problem, which is why I always say talk about the problem that you solve. If you're just talking about your solution, then if people don't understand how that solution fits into their world, they'll never understand what you do for them. And so, if you talk about the problems that you solve around the niche that you're looking after, which is why I look at niches in problem solved as one of the best places, there is a whole bunch of different steps that you can add, which are new products and new services, without having to solve just the one problem itself. So I'll quickly show you that. So let's imagine that you, I'm bringing the old whiteboard out, you are in fishing training. All right. So here's your badge. You're the new fishing trainer for my company. All right. Now, you might start with a client over here, and the client's in a place where they're unhappy, and they're in a situation where they don't know how to fish. They really want to know how to fish, but they've never been able to catch a fish successfully. They're no good at it, right? And you're over here where you know how to catch a fish. In fact, you know where to catch the best fish, and in fact, you could successfully go out and confidently catch fish whenever you wanted. You could even catch the specific type of fish that you're after. And so what you want to do is you want to take someone from where they're at, where they're in their problem, to the outcome that they're looking for. So in this case, it's taken from I don't know how to catch fish to I can confidently catch fish whenever I like. And so this is fish, right? Now, that's a general problem that people might have. And you'll work about what are the steps I need to take people through to move them from not knowing what to do to knowing very, very much what to do. Well, first, we need to tell them what are the different types of fish. What are the different types of fish that they might need to know about? Where are those fish? So where are all the fish? So that they start learning where are the best spots to look for these sort of fish. What's the best bait to use when I'm actually after these fish? So tell them all about the bait. What's some of the equipment the equipment that you might use to actually catch these fish. And then when you've got the equipment, what are some techniques to actually land the fish? And then you go on to what do you do once you catch one? What do you do afterwards with it? All these different things. So there's multiple steps. Now, an example of niching is you going, well, I don't want to just help people go from here to there. In fact, my passion really is around bait. All right. So my passion's around bait. So instead of being the generalist that helps people learn how to fish and confidently fish everywhere, I just want to have people really, really know everything about bait. So I want to train them in that. I've got bait that I sell. I've got training courses on which bait to use, on where to use it, things like that. So you'll go, all right, I know nothing about bait, and I want to know everything about bait because they need to solve that issue. And so they might spend less time with you here, but it allows you to go really deep. And you go, all right, here's the different types of bait. This is when to use that sort of bait. This is how you can actually get the bait. Like, let's say that you're growing your own worms or something. That might be a way of doing it. And there's all these little mini steps inside the niche. And so within your own business, have a think. What is the problem that you solve? What's the strategy from getting them from where they are to the outcome that you deliver? And then say, do I want to do all of that? Because if you can't do all of that, then you're not going to be able to take them from here to there. So maybe look in here and say, what's your favorite part? Dig a little deeper and go, all right, what I really want to do is just take them from this second level across to the third. And you might find that there's a space in there that's like a sub niche. So it's even niching within the niche or niching within the niche. And you might go, all right, all I want to do is I want to be the person that says when to use bait. I'm the when guy. And so you can become world class by going deep into a niche because you are the go-to person about when to use specific baits. And you'll go down again, and then there'll be another line, and I'm not off the board yet, but there'll be another line of sequences of products and services that you can deliver in that space. So that's niching, right? As a visual for you. So now the question is, how do you find which niche to choose? All right. So there's multiple things to consider. One is, where does your passion lie? Who do you like working with? Because there might be certain people that are over here that have this problem and very different people who have this problem. You probably find that people who are actually looking for an expert in bait are already quite successful fishermen or fishing women, fishing people, fish people, successful fish people. And you're actually just like going, all right, deep. Now I'm getting into the expert area. So they're looking for an expert, and that's where you become the expert in there. So where's your passion lie? Number two is, what does the market want? So not what you want. It's not about you. It's not about what you want to deliver. It's what does the market want? And there's a couple of ways that you can find out that very, very quickly. One is to go to Google Trends. If you haven't gone to Google Trends before, go to Google Trends and you'll actually be able to search on the subject that you're looking for, and you'll be able to see how often people search on that. And it'll show you, especially if you do it over the years, it'll show you whether it's a decline or actually on an increase of interest based off Google searches. Now, what you'll also be able to see there is ways to use synonyms or other words that might fit into the space. So, for instance, within my own space, I've got business strategy, I've got growth specialist, I've got new clients or new customers. There are different phrases that are more searchable than others. So it's looking at those phrases and working out, where do I want to plant my flag and say, this is what I stand for. And doing that research is a really good way of saying, is there a market there that's interested? The third way of actually checking if there's a market is pick the highest trending phrases that are within your niche, then go and have a look at a Google search on those, see what competitors pop up. Now, you can then look at those competitors, have a look at their websites, have a look at their social profiles, see what they're up to, and actually see, is that the sort of thing that you want to be doing? Now, if there's no competitors there, that could well be an issue. That doesn't mean you've struck gold just because there's no competitors. There might not be any gold there, which is why there's no competitors there. Usually when there's money to be had, there are other competitors about. But ideally, what you want to do with picking a niche is go from maybe 1,000 competitors in your space to maybe 3, 4, or 5. And then that's good. That's good, healthy competition. It means that you're going to be the choice of just a handful of people. You'll get to know who they are. You'll get to understand how they work. And you'll get very, very clear about how you're going to be messaging to your market. And finally, that is the main key for niching as far as I'm concerned, is where are you going to spend your energy? If you're a complete generalist and you're not just focusing on one particular problem, then you're going to be saying, well, we do this and we do this and we do this and we do this. And if you're not saying that enough, people won't even hear it because there's so much noise out there. So if you focus all those, so there's 5 different messages I just did then. If you focus that in, so it's one message 5 times, same amount of effort, but far more impact. All right. So you want to, if you're doing that, you're wasting a lot of energy. So the main reason to actually look at a niche is to focus your energy so it has more impact in your market. It allows you to be amongst a small group of experts in your space, and it allow your message to get out stronger and more effectively. So if you've got any more questions around niching or niching or wherever you are in the world, whatever, however you call it, feel free to put it in the comments below, and I'll go back and have a look at the comments. I'll answer them as I go. This has been Tactical Tuesday. This is Russell Pearson from windy Melbourne in Australia, where we're about to get let out of lockdown. So look out, people. We're coming out of lockdown. Who knows what's going to happen? And if anyone's got any questions around this, or if anyone would like to get in touch with me, you can contact me at russellpearson.com, where I'm currently helping a whole bunch of people take the next step in their business. So if you'd like to know how to do that within your own business, whether it's about strategy or about how to actually get that done, contact me through russellpearson.com. I would love to speak to you. Until next time, stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one. And end broadcast.